I caught her cheating and got revenge on Valentine's Day. This is a follow-up to my post from last week. Reddit, I have proof she cheated on me and need a revenge plan. Is this too cruel? Basically, I asked Reddit to help me think of a way to get justice while dumping my girlfriend. I never expected the huge response I got, and I sincerely thank everyone for responding. I read every single comment. Almost everything I did was a suggestion I got from you all. The top suggestion was to just walk away, rise above everything, forget about revenge and suddenly disappear from her life forever. I thought about this seriously for a long time, but finally decided to listen to the only part that matters in that plan, having it be over and then never seeing or talking to her again. Disappearing would mean her trying to contact me for days, and I wanted it to just be over and see the look on her face. Believe it or not, but guys need closure too. Here's what happened. As best as I can remember, I decided that Valentine's Day was the perfect day to go through with it, but since I'd caught her cheating last week I hadn't thought to get reservations anywhere. Thanks to a fellow Redditor, I managed to get a spot for us at a really nice restaurant by the lake. I live in Austin. I told my girlfriend that I'd come over to her apartment before we went out and make some drinks while she got ready. I had already packed all of her stuff from my own apartment, including the expensive face cream she keeps, and yeah, I jerked off into it so she'll be wearing my facial every day for months. It was an idea inspired by one of the comments here. I put all of her crap in a travel bag and drove over to her apartment. I left the bag in the car and went in. She busted out some glasses and bottles of liquor for me to make drinks and then got in the shower. While she was in there, I grabbed the bag from my car and put it in her closet. I also hid a 3-pack of condoms in the bag but only left 2 rubbers in it. She'll probably find them, think I left them accidentally and always wonder if I cheated on her. We lost our virginity to each other and never used condoms. She was still in the shower during this time and I grabbed her cell phone and deleted myself from it. I also looked up Theo in her contacts and changed his phone number to mine, for later. After that, I made her a vodka Sprite and spit in it a few times. I had a big shot of vodka and waited for her, and when she was dressed we had our drinks. I hate to admit it but she looked really good, so I talked her into giving me some oral as a warm-up for tonight. A lot of the comments told me I should tap it one last time, and I agreed. I made her gag accidentally a few times right in the same spot I'd seen her blowing the other guy. When I was done, I told her that my car was acting funny, so we should take hers instead. I drove us to the restaurant. This was the part of the date that was supposed to be perfect. We had dinner and wine and I went out of my way to make everything seem normal, giving her the perfect Valentine's dinner. We talked about vacations we'd taken together and how we'd like to go back. I brought up old memories and made her laugh. I asked her where she wanted to be in 5 years, and she said hopefully married by then. It was hard at times but I was already committed to finishing it. We were done eating so I excused myself to the bathroom to wash my hands. From there, I made a call to my best friend and told him to pick me up in half an hour. That's all the time I was ever going to give the heartless witch again. I came out of the bathroom and paid the bill, give me some credit for being a gentleman still, and suggested we take a walk along the lake. Thanks again to the Redditor, because this turned out to be perfect. There was a little dock nearby and we stood on it, and my hands were shaking but I finally called her out. I asked her if there was anything she wanted to tell me. She looked confused and played it off very well. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes I probably would have believed her. I let her lie to me and then told her that I knew about Theo, that she'd accidentally called me and I'd caught them ducking around. I told her I'd found him on Facebook and seen his ducking bragging updates. While I was telling her this, she started bawling, and I've got to admit that I was crying a little too. But I kept going and told her how much she'd hurt me, and that I'd been throwing up all week and sick about it. The only thing she kept saying was that she was sorry. The rest of the time she was crying and almost hyperventilating. She would try to interrupt but I kept telling her to let me finish. I wasn't too sure if I was gonna do this part of the plan but I had nothing else to lose so I said duck it. I told her that I honestly believed she was the girl I was going to spend the rest of my life with. which was true, and pulled out a jewelry ring box from my coat. I'd gotten it the day before for about $15 in the same gas station as the condoms. I didn't open the box because the ring looked totally cheap, but I told my girlfriend I'd had it for a while but wasn't going to need it anymore. I threw the box into the lake and it totally looked real because of the tears in my eyes. She hadn't stopped crying this whole time and was pulling at me and begging me to listen to her and let her talk, over and over again. I don't know how else to describe it. She was having a total freak out and I decided it was the perfect time to walk away. I told her there was nothing to talk about and nothing she could say. I never wanted to see her again or talk to her. I told her that I'd left a bag of her stuff in her closet, and if she left anything else to have a friend come get it. I even mentioned that I'd noticed a bump on me and was going to the doctor this week and suggested she do the same. I made it clear that this was the last time we would ever talk to each other, and then gave her the keys to her car back and said goodbye. She tried to hug me and kept saying forgive me, but I knew better and backed off. I walked away and left her there at the dock. My friend was waiting outside the restaurant, and I got in the car with him and went to pick up my car back at her place. While we were on the way, I followed through with the last part of my plan. I sent her a text message, which she would now think was from Theo since I'd switched numbers. It said, WTF, your boyfriend emailed me and knows about us. I don't want this drama, don't call or text me again. Seriously. She still hasn't written back. Yeah, she'll eventually figure it out and think I'm immature, but I honestly don't give a poop anymore. The person who suggested the text message plan was right. It's like she got dumped twice on Valentine's Day, and you can't say she doesn't deserve it. So there it is. I did it and actually feel relieved, but a little in shock now. This has literally been the worst week of my life, and I'm not sure how I'll handle it. But I'm glad that I reached out, even if it was to strangers. I can't thank you enough for the majority of you out there being helpful and understanding. And if all this makes me a noodle, I'm prepared to live with it. At least I did something and didn't just get trampled and pitied. Update, it seems like half of Reddit now believes I'm just as bad as a cheater now. I'm sorry, but it's been almost 2 days and I don't regret a thing. She turned out to be a monster, barely human. There's no comparison. And I'd love to prove this is real, but there's no realistic way for me to do that without giving out names, and I can't do that for obvious reasons.
Hey guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out, thanks.
Throwing the gas station ring into the lake was an inspired touch. Truly you have much to teach us. Please share with us more delicious wine from your mind grapes. Not a bad read, but I think you missed a real opportunity here. To not intentionally cause pain in another human, even if they caused you pain. To be honest and genuine in a time of great emotional distress, and to treat others with the dignity you wished they showed you. Critical evaluation of revenge 4.5 stars out of 5. Tips for the future should you have to do this again. Skip the text message and wrapper parts of your plan. They both paint you as being an butthole, if she should figure them out. The best revenge in a situation like this is always the revenge that doesn't seem openly malicious. Giving the victim an outlet for their hatred directs it away from themselves and squarely at you. She will have reason to be angry with you, and that will largely undo all the work you put into making her feel awful. Without those 2 steps, the entire plan as executed made you look like the upstanding, classy guy who was about to propose, and a very positive relationship that she so obviously single-handedly ducked up. The guilt and sense of loss / what might have been, assuming she really does regret it, would have eaten at her for years to come. But now she has reason to be angry with you, which means she will be able to focus on that instead of how badly she ducked up. Still, 2 thumbs up, A++, would buy again. Or, you ruined the whole revenge with that rapper thing and Theo call. She'll eventually figure out the Theo call and see you as immature, and the rapper thing will make her think you cheated. She won't feel guilty anymore about cheating because of it, and you being immature will make her feel less guilty about cheating anyway. Should have kept it classy. Jesus Christ, dude. Did you grind her parents into chili as well? I've been a Reddit lurker for some time now, and reading this revenge plan finally made me want to post something, namely, this guy's clearly a psycho, though I couldn't have put it better than you did. So thank you. That's great and all, but why didn't you just follow what the most upvoted comment said and just ignore her completely? Instead you just created more drama for yourself. Wow, I cannot possibly imagine why such a gem of a man would attract the cheating type. Do you really think that doing all of this expressly to hurt her made you feel better? Being cheated on is horrible, don't get me wrong, and you're right to feel sick to your stomach and want revenge, but there's a difference between feeling that way and acting on it. Jerking off into her face cream? Seriously? I'm not saying you should have been getting trampled and pitied, but that's not what it'd be if you'd taken the classy route and just never spoken to her again. Revenge is something that provides immediate relief but leaves you feeling more guilty than anything later on. I thought we told you not to get revenge. We did. He didn't listen to us. And now, because he didn't end it properly, he's going to be dealing with the fallout from it for a while. He'll understand later, but he's too pissed off about it right now. This is horrid, unnecessary, and immature. I realize I'll get downvoted for this, but I'd be ashamed. There is no reason outside of repairing ego damage to make it a point to devise a fiendish revenge plot for the person you once loved, and perhaps still do. Simply notifying her that you caught her cheating on you and breaking up would suffice. Honestly, it seems like her cheating on you was a blessing in disguise, because given the way you handled someone who isn't ready for a committed relationship, it shows that you aren't ready for one either.